that reeks of self-indulgence and authoritarian cosplay, DJ to the T is reportedly planning a grandiose military parade in Washington, D.C. Now, this is to mark his 79th Hatch Day and the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. Go Army. The spectacle promises troops, tanks, and flyovers, something you usually only see in North Korea or some other dictatorial regime. I fully expect Trump to show up in a uniform with a chest full of medals like that meme of Jason Isaacs. And it will cost us, you and me, a staggering $100 million or more of taxpayer money. Naturally, this ego flex is perfectly fine to the GOP, while many of Trump's own allies and sycophants have been howling for years about draining the swamp, remember that, and eliminating waste. You'd think that avoiding utterly pointless peacocking on the taxpayer's dime would tend to fall under those comments, but as is always the case when it's for Trump's benefit and aggrandizement, the GOP are oddly quiet. What makes this more grotesque is the cheerleading from the maggots. The same crowd that froths at the mouth about Democratic boondoggles, pork, and liberal spending. Doesn't matter if it's infrastructure projects which are needed countrywide, climate initiatives, or heaven forbid, funding of the arts. They suddenly have no problem coming up with a deep well of quote, end quote, patriotic justification for blowing 9 figures on an afternoon of marching soldiers and airborne hardware. The parade, they insist, or at least Fox News insist, is a beautiful tribute and a necessary show of strength instead of a pathetic display of overcompensation by an old-fashioned dickhead trying to show everyone he can still get it up. Remember when the Biden administration floated the idea of expanding public celebrations for the 4th of July, complete with fireworks and civic engagement programs? Maggots damn near stroked out yelling about reckless spending and virtue signaling waste. Never mind that those events typically cost a fraction of what Trump's vanity parade is poised to consume. And they actually include things like voter registration drives and community services that are, for the people, by the people. Sound familiar? Anyway, of course, historically, voter access is always the last thing the GOP wants, whether it's MAGA or just normal, quote unquote, right, to be honest. If you know you can't win, cheat, I guess is the credo. I'm not going to pretend to be surprised. What matters in MAGA land isn't the cost, the purpose, or even the appropriateness of such events. It's about naked ego, hubris, and a Lord of the Flies style display to fire up the delusionally masochistic base. For Trump, the golden calf himself, it's a we spared no expense type moment. No price too steep, no display too gaudy. If it were anyone else, especially a Democrat, it would be considered socialism or corruption or both. And then they'd probably work in child essays somewhere as well. For the record, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has dealt with Trump's parade scheme before. Back in 2018, she managed to get it torpedoed due to a sky-high estimated cost of $92 million. And thankfully, she is again raising the alarm about infrastructure damage and security risks. So here we are, watching the spectacle of a so-called populist movement bending over backward to justify a monumentally unnecessary parade for a man who never met a gold-plated gimmick or con or scam he didn't like. This is not a celebration of America and its military might. This isn't even close. This is a masturbatory reveling of unchecked power and corruption, financed by the very taxpayers MAGA claims to champion. You can't even call it hypocrisy anymore. It's just a sort of religious fealty. It's terrifying stuff. And on that note, stay tuned. I'm sure it'll get worse before it gets better. Thanks for watching, and I'll leave you with another favorite clip of mine.
Bobby, if you get my Jerry again, you saucy little devil, you can't get a girl's Jerry twice, you sly goose.